Hello, beautiful tribe members, and welcome to our little recording today. I'm really honoured to have Lucia Pavlikova here with us today. Lucia is a mindset coach and she's also trained in NLP. She's a very well-travelled young lady, and we've been having a chat about her backpacking in Asia last year. But Lucy is here today just to share her journey and some tips and tools for you guys. You know, it's a challenging time at the moment, and we feel that it would be really helpful to just have real life people here who are experts in certain fields, just to share and help. And yeah, so Lucia, welcome.
Thank you very much, Corinna, for having me, and thank you for inviting me as well.
It's our pleasure. It's our pleasure. So, just to get started, really, tell the tribe about yourself. I mean, you're a tribe member as well, so you saw us asking for speakers, which is fabulous, and you volunteered. So we're so grateful for that. But yeah, just tell us about your journey and why you wanted to speak to us as well. What you have to share.
Yeah, so actually, that time when you posted your opportunity for the interview, I just joined like a couple days before. I just joined the tribe, and when I joined some groups, then I feel like really touched to join for some reason. So it's like kind of I felt like, oh, this is going to be a great place, and then all of a sudden that message appears. So it's like, yes, that's perfect place. And I was thinking, yeah, well, maybe that will be what can be interesting for you. I don't know. Well, so I thought that I can just share what I have experienced, and sometimes I notice, like, sharing your own journey sometimes help people to do some certain steps. So it might be for some inspiring, or at least it gives them some kind of hope. So therefore I'm always happy to share, uh, whoever is willing to listen to me. So I am happy to be here.
We are so happy to have you here. So, kickstarting with your own personal journey. So you're a coach, you're a mindset coach, and you study NLP, and I think that resonates with a lot of our tribe members. So that's why I feel this conversation is going to be really helpful. So where did you begin?
Well, basically, yeah, I've come through different places, and I've been in places where I lived, and I had different experiences, and I felt like every place where I was somehow helped me to become the person I am. So I had different job before, so I was not coach for long period of years. I started my journey basically like 2.5 years ago, when I felt like this is the path I should take on, but I just was not really courageous enough to do that. So the work I did was kind of mentoring. I had my own team, so I felt like in a good place to give some knowledge to people, share what I know. So I felt like in my zone of genius, I can say. And as well, like traveling and living in different countries helped me to understand that people have you know different cultures, different beliefs, and the way how they grew up is different. So everything like somehow helped me to understand that we are all unique in some way. And but also on the other side, also I realized that in the job where I was before, I I started feeling that it's not fulfilling me anymore. It was, that I just hit certain point where I felt like there is nothing more for me, where I could grow. And not only professionally, but also like a person. I felt a bit like I've lost, my own personal journey while working for someone else. And I just couldn't relate to that feeling anymore. I felt a bit lost. I felt like disconnected from the world, even from the people around me, when it was like, all right, there is something I have to change. And yeah, it took a bit of time because it was not like all of a sudden, but it took me like 1 year to come to that place where I said like, all right, enough. I really, really have to do something about that. And it was actually when I moved to Germany, where I am now, when I said like, all right, maybe it's time just to slow down and figure out things differently. So I knew that it probably will be something working with people, but I was not sure how to incorporate, how to make it work. And then I started to believe in some science, and then NLP came into my into my life, and it was kind of like really out of the blue. All of a sudden I just saw that sign. I've never heard about it. I've never really dig deeper like what it is, and all of a sudden I was like, oh yeah, that's what I want to do. Like that's something which could help me, first me personally, because that was what I was looking for at that moment first.
Yeah.
And as I was studying and going deeper into that topic, I realized like actually, yeah, I can really help people to overcome some struggles which I went through. And first it helped me, and then it was like, yes, so this is the way, this is my new path, this is my new direction.
I think that's beautiful because a lot of us can relate to that. I think, we do often feel lost in life. And I think when you start to go through a bit of a transition, you start to feel uncomfortable where you are. And I think there's a lot of people in that space at the moment. We all want change and transition, but we're feeling like we're in that cocoon phase of life, especially with the virus and the way the world is at the moment. So the fact that you've been able to move into something that you're passionate about just gives people hope. I mean, well, you said you noticed signs. I think a lot of our tribe members as well can relate to that. For me, I see angel numbers and symbols and things like that. And I know you talked about the incorporating the spiritual element into your coaching work.
Mhm.
Do you want to tell the tribe members a bit more about that?
Yeah, well, that was also the process because, as I said, I went through my own path and transitioning from corporate world into the coaching, and all of a sudden realizing that spiritual realm and the energies, because before it was just like you said, there are signs, but I didn't put that meaning to it like consciously, that these signs just appear, and I was like, oh yeah, probably I was meant to do it, but I didn't understand that behind what is behind. So it was again like step by step I got into the discussions with people who were who were more knowledgeable in that direction. I was researching a bit. I was looking for some groups like the one yours, when I could feel like what it is about. And somehow I just got so much attracted, and so many things all of a sudden made sense to me, like what happened in the past and how I'm functioning, and also together with NLP, basically, because it's a lot connected. I mean, it's about how our mind, body, and our spirit works together, basically. So everything is so intertwined in that sense. So I was like, yeah, of course it is like that. I just needed to dig a bit into that topic and understand it. I know that for someone it might be a bit too much, like they would need more evidence. They would maybe need to read more to find out more. But for me, it was just like step by step, and I was just crashing my old beliefs and creating my new beliefs in that sense.
I love that. So when you say like crushing your old beliefs, are we talking kind of like negative, limiting beliefs, that sort of thing?
Yeah, yes, exactly. Everything what stops us, to be our better version. Because when we think about those limiting beliefs, actually they're not even ours, and we have inherited them when we were children, when we were, like in that imprint period, like when NLP talks about it. And we learn everything. We observed, people doing certain things, saying certain things, which were not even about us personally, but as children we might have understood it that way, and it hurt us, made us sad, and we created those beliefs. And some believe as well that it happened in our past lives, not necessarily in this life. So everything is like the layers and layers of those beliefs we need to uncover in order to become a better version.
And through like using those tools like NLP and coaching, because like, as a fellow coach as well, it is so powerful, and just asking people those questions and holding that space, as
Yeah.
well as using the techniques that you've learned in NLP, just life changing really. And it's been life changing for you because, yeah, what did you do before you got into coaching? What was your career path then?
Yeah, well, it was completely different direction at that time. I was working for the hospitality, for a big hotel company, and I was doing more the financial stuff. So a lot of numbers, a lot of statistics, and leading the team. So really, it had something to do, but that's why I said like that mentoring. Like I enjoyed more than that part of the numbers. And that's when I think somehow hits me like, all right, now it's time to move to that mentoring and coaching part where I felt much more alive. And yeah, that's how I felt that connection, we have with ourselves and with the others. Like when we kind of serve others, we help others, that it's about giving and also receiving. That's some gift we have and we can also receive.
Absolutely. And I think when you realize as well that even though that wasn't your like chosen path necessarily, sometimes you fall into a career, and then the fact that you've had the courage to move into something new, even though that it can be uncomfortable, that moving into that newness, you've had
Mhm.
the courage to do that, and now you're receiving the benefits of that, because it feels like fulfilling when you're doing that work, and it's soul work, and you're following that calling. And it's just so lovely to see someone like yourself, having the courage to step out and do something you're passionate about.
Yeah, it took me a long time, as I said, that it was not like, overnight. But my previous job, it was passion at the beginning. And I think everyone is at when at the point of life when what they are doing, they love what they do. Like, it gives them that fuel, that energy. And I was at the beginning of that path and that same space where I really loved what I was doing. But then, after years and years doing the same thing, when me personally, I didn't feel like I am evolving, I'm not growing as a person. I just felt like disconnected from myself. And that's when I started to notice I got more and more often depressed. I got more and more often sadder. I got more, I had sometimes anxious attacks. Like I didn't want to get up out of the bed in the morning, and just thinking to go into the office like made my stomach like very heavy. So I was like, this is not right anymore. This is something like, something needs to change. But of course, it was not like, okay, now I'm changing it. It took me, I don't know. I think when I started to have the first feeling, it was maybe 2-3 years before I actually decided to do some real steps. So I started to do yoga first, like going into that state where I could really be with myself, I could ground myself. And then, I changed for example, as well, what had some impact on my life, I changed my eating habits and changed my diet. That also helped me to become a bit more energized,
Yeah.
like because I was so much kind of depressed. I also realized it had something to do with the way how I ate, for example. In my case, it doesn't mean that for everyone is the same. So it was like the process, starting with the yoga, with changing the diet, thinking about myself more, and all of a sudden I was just like, all right, there is more and more and more. So I was exploring it step by step.
Yeah, I think it is like an onion, isn't it? And you're peeling off those layers, and you make one small change, and that small change ripples out to the rest of your life. So, and it's like good for tribe members to know that when you start to feel that uncomfortable feeling, that's your higher self telling you something.
Yeah,
It's telling
exactly.
you that something does need to change.
Yeah.
I've had that experience myself in what I've been doing, and even now, I'm doing a day job as an executive assistant, but there's that niggling telling me that I need to be doing the healing work I'm doing. So I'm following the path. But you're right, you can't just sometimes you can't just leap into it. Sometimes there is a little bit of that, there is more preparation work to do, but so long as you're taking, you know, that one small step, I think that that is enough. And
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
bad.
Like every
Yeah,
day, you just decide for one thing you want to change, and it can be tiny thing. It can be, something very simple, but that already, you plant that seed of better version of you. That's like something which you can work on, and you can really let it shine. So it's just really something simple can make a huge difference over time.
massively. So like in terms of like the way that you work with people then, so what kind of shifts have people had when they've done this work? What's shifted?
Yeah, so the shifts are what we were talking about, the limiting beliefs, and about, the emotions which are not positive, like when we talk about the fears, when we talk about the anger, sadness, guilt or shame. So these are the emotions which kind of keep us stuck or keep us more in the past, when we kind of run the program of the past, what happened to us, and we just cannot let it go. It's like, you are kind of absorbed in that past event. So I'm helping people to resolve that past connection, like really in a way to letting it go, and changing those limiting beliefs for more empowering. So
Yeah,
basically, once you step into the knowing that it's just the past and it's something you experience, but it doesn't define you, then it's like, you become already kind of lighter, and that's the feeling when people need to have in order to start building their better future. And I'm helping them as well throughout that process how to build that better future. So it's about disconnecting from the past events, negative events, and moving into the better, more compelling future.
it's beautiful, isn't it? I think it's that reframing, and confidence is huge. Like if your confidence is what propels you forward and fear is what holds us back. And I think if you can shift your mindset into more confidence and start taking steps forward, and putting yourself out of your comfort zone, the more you do that, you stretch yourself. And what I was saying to tribe members before is, you know, even just doing the like videos like this, you know, a couple of years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do this. I wouldn't have had the courage to do this. But when you start following your heart and your passion, and you feel like you're being guided, and you start to trust and you're supported, you know, it just becomes easier and easier.
Yeah, definitely. I strongly believe in that once you do, these small steps, and you realize that yeah, there is fear, there was a fear, and you can always decide, that you might want to feel a bit fearful, because on the other hand, that kind of keeps us also safe, right?
Yeah.
But being aware of that, and being conscious about, like, I am in power of these feelings, I am the one who can, take power and decide whether I feel this way or not. That's huge empowerment. And as you say, also that brings that confidence, because you start building up, and you start moving outside of your comfort zone. And usually I say to people that when they want to change something and they feel resistance, and I usually say, that's a good thing. When you feel resistance, it means you are on the right path. It's actually there where you want to go. You want to just dig even deeper and find out, like, why I feel that resistance. Because probably, most likely, it's because there is fear behind that, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, and it's that what you resist persists. It's going to continue.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, I definitely agree. I think when you resist something, you've got this like it's that fear that's holding you there, and you've created that to keep yourself safe. Because for a reason, like for my example, I was really bullied all through my childhood years. So there was an element of me putting that layer of protection around myself. So I wouldn't speak up, and I wouldn't put myself out there, because I'd be afraid that I'd be ridiculed or judged. But now I'm moving to a stage in my life where I have lovely people around me, supportive people. And that's another thing, having the right people around you so that you can, working with a good coach like yourself, because accountability is just super important. Someone that you can be accountable to, who is going to guide you and walk you through the process and support you. You know, I wouldn't be here without my coaches and my mentors and my guides. And I'm sure as a fellow coach as well, you would say the same. Like, we don't, it's not so, life isn't a solo mission. We don't do it on our own, we do it together, and we do it as a tribe, and we walk forward together. So it's, yeah,
it's important to have someone you can lean on and you can trust and you could speak to, and as you say, to have that accountability, you know, that they push you through your resistance, you know, push you through that uncomfortable things. And yeah, I mean, I can just be really grateful for all people who actually helped me on that journey, as you just said, that what made
yeah.
the difference for you. Yeah, it's
Life would
incredible.
be no fun without sharing the journey with others, and we all learn so much from each other. We're all each other's teachers, and it's just really, it just is nice to talk to someone else who's on a similar path and who's following their passion. And you know, you can tell you've got a lovely gentle energy, and I can imagine that your clients are very, very fortunate to work with you. So yeah.
With you, I'm sure of that.
So do you have any, like, if you could share like one key tool or something that's really helped you with the
Mhm.
tribe, what would you share? I know there's probably lots.
Yeah, I mean, it a lot depends on the situation and the events. But what I used to also advise to my clients, and they like that too, is actually when you talk about that confidence, like, you know, feeling confident, and many times it's impossible to feel in that space, like, you know, because it might be that, as you said, like being in front of camera and talking to someone, it might be, you know, that you don't feel all of a sudden comfortable and you want to feel confident. So basically, usually I advise clients to think about the event in the past when they really felt motivated, like really, really motivated. And I ask them to bring that picture, you know, to see that, like how the situation, what they were doing, how they were feeling, elevate that emotion and create the picture even brighter or colorful, whatever, you know, suits you, and working really with that senses. So make it as appealing as possible. And then actually, when thinking back to a situation when you don't feel comfortable, and
Yeah.
basically removing that situation with that new picture. So it's a lot connected to our way how our brain works. So it's like literally just sticking into your brain that replacing that old picture, like that feeling of uncomfort, with that new picture. So it's like switching over. So if you imagine, like just doing it a couple of times, imagining old picture and then the new one, like making
Okay.
it brighter and brighter. So that's something which I like using with clients. Like they really enjoy and they say, "Oh yeah, I cannot see old picture anymore. I just see, you know, I like how I am motivated, how I feel right now." So this is the way how maybe someone will take advantage of that.
So just reframing things and just, yeah, changing the picture, using a different lens to look at life through,
Yeah.
be really
Yes.
helpful. And like, yeah, the power of visualization is just
Yeah.
phenomenal. It really works. And that's why, you know, like, got for me, guided meditations and any visualization work, inner child work as well, it just rewires the brain, and you start to make new connections, and yeah, you
Exactly. Yes.
confidence and things like that. I mean, I'm not going to say you're confident every single day of your life. Everyone has moments where they waver and old feelings and emotions will come up, but that's an invitation to do some more work. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it just shows that that's parts of ourselves that we haven't addressed.
Yeah. Yes.
Which, you know, which is, it's an everlasting journey, I think, but not in a bad way, in a good way, because life is more interesting when we have things to work through, and we share it with other people as well. So yeah.
Definitely agree.
Oh, so do you before we wrap up, do you have any parting words of wisdom for our tribe members today?
Hmm. Ah, yeah, well, I would love to tell you, everyone who is watching, that please remember that you are unique, you are special in your own way. So if there are, some situations or circumstances when you are not feeling in your best, just remember that it's just momentary thing, and you can always come out of that as the winner, because you did it already in the past. You just forget it. So remind yourself, like how you overcame something in the past, and remember that you are always safe in this present moment. When you think that you are sitting or standing somewhere, you are always safe. So you are strong enough to overcome everything, and you can become anything you want.
Beautiful, so beautiful. And if our tribe members want to reach out to you and get in contact with you, what's the best way to contact you?
Well, definitely they can send me some message. I have my own Facebook page, Lucia Pavlikova Coaching. Then, of course, my Facebook profile. If they would like to become friends, I will be very happy. And yeah, they can follow me on some other social media as well. I am on LinkedIn. I am as well on Instagram. And I have my own website as well.
You can pop the links in the video as well underneath the video when we load it onto the page, so you'll be able to reach out to lovely Lucia. But Lucia, it's been absolutely wonderful talking to you today, and we're so grateful for your time and your wisdom and your light, and I'm sure our tribe members can reach out to you, and if they have any questions, you will be more than happy to answer them.
Definitely.
So thank you guys, and yeah, we'll be back again with another interview again soon, but in the meantime, thank you so much, Lucia, for everything
Thank
today.
you all for a beautiful time.
You're so welcome. Bye, guys.
Bye.